Today we're going to be talking about question 150, evaluate reverse Polish notation. So let's just take a look at the example because you've probably read the question and that's why you're here. But let's look at example 1. We're given an input of tokens, which is 2, 1, a plus sign, 3, and multiply. And the output we are told is 9. And that's the explanation, right? So how do we get from this array here to this logic in the explanation right here? So we're given a set of validators, you can see on the left-hand side, plus, minus, asterisk for multiplication, and we have a division. And the division between two integers always truncates towards 0. So this is actually something to pay attention to when we're doing the question, because if you don't implement this, you're going to get the incorrect answer. So let's take a look at question or example 1 again on that. Right, so we have 2, 1 plus sign. We know that we need to iterate through the list, but how can we do it in a way that is going to follow the mathematical rules? Well, let's just take a look from left to right slowly. First, we're going to initiate a variable, let's just call it stack. So as I'm in the first element, I see the 2, I'm going to put that into my stack. I see the 1, I'm going to put that into my stack. Now the first operation is a plus sign. I see that, so I have to do something with it. And the key thing to know is that whenever we encounter an operation, we need to use 2 values. So for each operation, it only takes 2 values, right? A plus B, A times B, A minus B. So I see this operation, and I know that I have to take the 2 values preceding this operation and do something with it. And what we have to do with our stack here is we're going to pop the first 2 values. And in fact, we just need to do call pop twice. So array.pop once, we get this 1 value. I've just commented here 1 array.pop. That is going to be 2. We can store that into a variable. So I've just called it A and B. And after we've called pop twice, our stack is going to be empty because we've popped the 2 values. And I just say, okay, result equals add. So I know that this function, this plus sign, when I see a plus sign, I need to do something with the values that we had just popped. So we do A and B, we pass that into the add function, and that's going to give us 3. And what we then do is push that result back into the stack. So at the moment here now, our stack is going to have, that's a mistake right here, it's going to be a value of 3 inside the stack, right? So what we've done essentially is this first portion right here, 2 plus 1 in the first bracket, we've evaluated, and that equals 3. So then we move on to the next element. Our stack, again, it only has a value 3, and we see 3, so we push that into the stack. And then we encounter another operation, that's a multiplication. So what do? We are going to have to pop it twice, right? We're popping the 3, that value is 3, we're popping it again for variable B, and that is also 3. And we pass the A and B variables into a multiplication function. And that result is going to be 9, and we push that into the stack. And then we can return just the first value of the stack, and that is going to be 9. So let's look at a longer example. This is example 3, and this is the token input, the tokens that they've given to us. Now we can already spot a couple of operations, but we're going to do exactly what we did just now, from left to right, iterating through all the variables. We see a 10, we push the 10 into the stack. We see a 6, push the 6 into the stack, 9, 9 into the stack, 3, 3 into the stack, and then we have a plus sign. What do we do when we see the plus sign? Well, we have to just pop the last 2 values. So stack.pop, right? After we pop it the first time, the value that we're popping is 3. That goes out, and this is our stack, 10, 6, 9. Pop it again, that value that we popped is 9. We only have 10, 6. We perform our addition function by passing A and B, then we push that result back into the stack. So it's 10, 6, 12 now. Do you see how we got there? Because 3 plus 9 is going to be 12, right? The result, and we push it right here back into the stack. So currently, up into this operation, our stack is going to be 10, 6, 12. Let's continue. We see a negative 11, we're going to push that into the stack. Now we see another operation, and when we see that operation, we do pop twice. After popping it twice, the stack is going to be 10 and 6. And we pass the a and b values into our multiplication function. We get negative 11, which is variable a, times 12, which we get is negative 132. And then we push that into our stack. So then at this point, we get 10, 6, and negative 132. And let's just look at this line right here. You see how we have negative 132 evaluated? What we've done is we've done this portion right here, 9 plus 3, then we've done a 12 times negative 11, and now we're at negative 132. We are evaluating it in the order of the mathematical rules. Now we see, let's go to the next value. We can see that it's going to be a division operation. So we see, okay, this is our current stack, 10, 6, negative 132. We encounter a division operation, so we have to do stack.pop, which is a value of negative 132, and which results in a stack of 10 and 6 because we pop that last value out. And then we pop again, we get that 6 out, and what's remaining in the stack is 10. And we do a division operation which ends up being 0, and then we push that back into the stack. So look at that. We are at 0 here. Let's continue. We're going to see a multiplication operation. We pop it twice, stack.pop, then we push the result in, and then we get that next value. It's going to be 0. Now, we can already see that next value is going to be 17. So what do? Pop it twice, we evaluate it, and then we push that in, and we get 17, and we are right here. 17 plus 5, that's the next value. We iterate, we pop it twice, we push the result back into the stack, and it's going to give us 22. Now let's just take a look at the code, and I'm going to walk you through all of those steps again. Feel free to skip, but take a look at the code. Line 5, here is where I define the operations. I just call it ops, and we have the multiplication, plus, division, and subtraction. All right, this is just an object which has the function defined here. All right, so one thing to take note is that truncating implementation that we saw in the question, in the example, that tells us, oh, if it's a division, we truncate towards 0, and this is what we do right here. So let's go through the code. What am I doing here? I've defined my stack, similar to what I've been writing all along. I've defined the stack in line 13, and this right here, line 14, let v of tokens, v here just, it could be anything, it's a value. But so for let v of tokens, I'm iterating through every value. And if I encounter a value that exists in this operation object, I know that it's an operation because I've defined it here. If it is truthy, then what we're going to do is we're going to evaluate it, right? We've popped it once, popped it twice. These are the a and b values, and we're putting that into our operation function, which is defined here. That's the ops of v. Otherwise, if it's not an operation, if it's not one of these symbols here, we just push the value into our stack that we've defined in line 13. So at the moment, the stack is 10. Then we're going through the values. It's going to be 6, 9, 3, then we see an operation, and that's going to be truthy. So what happens is we pop, and we pass that into the operation. So what is it? I believe it's going to be a plus sign, right? So a plus b, that's going to give us 12. And then we're going to push it into the stack. So we get 10, 6, 12. Now let's continue. The next value is going to be negative 11. Okay, well, I've stopped there, it seems. I thought I might have made all the slides, but I think that illustrates the flow of the code. So we're going through all the values. If we encounter an operation that we've defined in line 5, we can actually execute that operation if it's truthy, and we're going to push that into the stack. That's it. Would love your feedback on the explanation? Do you like how I've screenshotted just the code and walked you through it? Anything at all. Thanks, guys.